You might have heard the term vibe coding in the past and you've wondered what this actually means. This is a term that became very popular in the past 2 years as AI started rolling out models that were able to code and to build applications on their own using agents, for which people decided to call vibe coding the new way of coding, which basically means you type something in natural language into a text box chat, you send a message, and you let the AI code it for you. But you're still there sort of managing the project from a bird's view. You're guiding the project, but you're doing much, much less work. So today I want to introduce you to probably the top 5 platforms that have become the most popular inside of vibe coding. Some of them are more user-friendly for people who have never coded and allows them to build applications from scratch, and then other ones are a little bit more technical, a little bit more powerful, but require some more technical knowledge. So let's dive in. The first one I want to talk about here is Bolt.new. This is the first platform that I ever used to vibe code. This was probably over a year ago now. Now we're in February in 2026, or almost March. So about a year ago, I tested one of these out. I was trying to build a landing page, a simple landing page with information about a business, and I thought it was pretty okay. Back then, there was a lot of rate limits, meaning that in the free plan, you couldn't really build anything useful, for which you had to upgrade to a higher plan. I never did because I wasn't happy with the results that I was getting, but it looks like they've made a lot of improvement from a year ago. We can see that now you can connect it to Cloud Code, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, or Codex. These are different models that might allow you to get better results, different results, but they're going to be a little bit more expensive. So as you see here, you can design systems with your own branding, guidelines, and things like that. You have databases inside. You can publish them into the web, like live, using a custom domain as well. You can create solutions for different teams, so like product managers, entrepreneurs, or marketers. Maybe you want to build a dashboard where you track all of your content or all of your revenue and that kind of thing. You can use something like Bolt to build something custom for you. And the whole idea of vibe coding is that you can now create apps that are tailored to your own needs. You don't have to stick to a specific solution that's going to cost you a lot of money and that it doesn't have all the features that you need. Now you just have to pay a subscription and you can build whatever you want, tailored to your own business, to your own needs, which is really great. And this is really the future of apps. We're already able to develop our own apps by just using natural language. So Bolt is really good. If we look at their pricing, not terrible. If we go to the monthly one, $25 a month for the Pro. This is probably the only one you need to get up and running with vibe coding. So $25 a month to learn and to try is great. Second, we have Replit. I've used Replit a lot in the past, and I'm actually going to go to their homepage here. And I've seen a lot of their ads, and their ads they kind of market this as something you can do on the fly. So you can even build apps from your phone using the Replit app, which is basically just the same interface that you get on the desktop, but like adjusted to your phone screen. So here you can start with an idea. You can create AI apps, meaning that you create like an interface like ChatGPT or an image generator using Replit. You create the front end and the back end. You can create websites, so like landing pages. You can see over here, this is very good designs for a landing page. Create business apps, like we talked about a little bit, of custom dashboards and things like that. And personal software, for example, if you want to track your own habits or if you want to track your own personal budget, you can create an app like that here on Replit. The cool thing about Replit is that you can have multiple agents working on the same app, which is great. You can create workflow automations, which is also great. I personally tried this one after trying Bolt to create a landing page, and back then, about 6 months ago, it was still not great. They were still coming in with their functionality of agent, but I'm sure it's great now. Everything is agents now. Agents work really, really well. So that's Replit. You can create an app by a simple prompt, or you can create a design. For example, if you want to do something like a landing page, you have 2 different modes here. If we go into the pricing, we're going to see, let's go to monthly. We're going to see Replit Core is $20 a month, which is not bad. It's a little cheaper than Bolt, and in my opinion, it's a little bit more powerful. You have a little bit more control in here. In their interface, you can get into the code and start making some changes. If you know how to code, then this is great. I remember I used Replit when I was like 10 years old, and back then it was just like an online IDE or an online code editor, and just seeing them come from that into a something that's really big in the vibe coding world, and that they have their own coding agents. It's really, really cool. Next, we have Lovable. I personally never tried Lovable. When I've seen tutorials of Lovable, and I think it's very, very similar to Bolt. I might be wrong. I've actually met someone who built their own CRM and their own website. They had their own like budget tracking systems. He's a mechanic, so everything tailored to their needs. So definitely you can achieve a lot with this, but let's check what else they have over here on their landing page. So you start with an idea, you watch it come to life, and then you refine and ship. Shipping just means making it live for other users to use it. Looks like they have some templates for slides. This is cool. You can create presentations on Lovable. I haven't seen that before on something like Bolt or Replit. I'm sure you can do it, but it looks like they have a template here so that you can create slides or a personal portfolio. This is great if you're, let's say, like an architecture student, or if you have a portfolio of art that you want to show, or even coding projects. Then you can use something like Lovable to create that landing page. And if you're looking for a job, you can send that to recruiters, etc., etc. Create blogs. You can see some apps that other creators have built using Lovable, which is great. I think this is good. If you don't know if you want to use something like Lovable, you might just want to check what other people have already built. But let's look at their pricing. $25 a month. It's the same thing as Lovable, very close to Replit. I think all of these apps that are very user-friendly, that are web-based, they are going to be very cheap for people to just pay 1 month and start playing around with it, learn, and once you start learning and building, you start getting more ideas. So I do recommend everyone to test one of these if you don't know how to code. But if you know how to code, we're going to move into two other platforms that are very, very popular right now and that are a little bit more technical. First, we're going to have Cursor. I have used Cursor in the past. To me, it just seemed like a VS Code. If you don't know, Visual Studio Code is an integrated development environment. I can actually pull it up here. It's basically just like an environment, an application in which you can edit code, and it looks very similar as Cursor. The only difference is that Cursor has like agents inside of there, so you can have an agent look over your whole project, have control over your files, this kind of thing, edit files. You can spawn sub agents. Let's say you have a really, really big task that you want to divide into multiple tasks so that you can run them parallel and have everything be a little bit more efficient and save some time. You can see over here, you can spawn sub agents to take control of each of these tasks. And maybe those tasks are doesn't require much compute, or they're not very complex, which means you don't want to use an AI model that's too expensive. What I mean by this is you don't want to use a coding model, the best coding model, to like fix a text on a landing page. So this is cool. You can select multiple models, or you can spawn multiple sub-agents with different models so that you save your credits. I'm pretty sure the way that Cursor works is you connect your API keys from your different models, for example, Codex, which is an OpenAI coding model, or Opus from Claude. You connect those in here, or even Gemini. You connect your keys, and then you're able to put like an instruction on what type of tasks the agent should be using each model, so that you get the most out of the tokens and of the API keys that you're paying for without wasting any credits that don't need to be wasted. So this is great. We can add plugins and skills. I'm pretty sure this is new, as well as MCP. Skills and MCP, these are very big terms right now in the vibe coding scene. Skills are basically instructions for a specific task that you can give agents. You can build your own skills. You can use skills built by other people and put them inside Cursor so that the agent that is working on your project has those skills. MCP is basically a language that these models use in order to communicate with different platforms. Let's say you want your agent to be able to communicate with, I don't know, your Notion, so that it can create Notion pages. Then you might want to connect the Notion MCP so that it knows how to use Notion. So this is Cursor right here. I haven't used it lately. I think it's a very good option for developers. I'm sure people who use VS Code might be a little bit more familiar with this stuff that you can achieve with a Cursor. Oh, it looks like you can even select here from different things. This is kind of cool. I've never seen this before. But moving on to Claude Code. Now, Claude Code is by far my favorite. I've been in the AI and automation space for over a year now, and I used to do a lot of automations inside N8N, which is an automation platform. But now I'm shifting into vibe coding, creating agents, and I've found Claude Code to be very, very, very powerful for these kind of things. I'm sure you can do the same thing in Cursor. They're both very similar. But Claude Code is a coding framework, I should call it, by Anthropic, that allows you to use a coding agent to not only code, but to do a bunch of variety things. Most of the stuff that I use Claude Code for is to build Notion pages. It's to convert files. It can even send emails if you give it access to things like that. So that's what I like about Claude Code. It's not necessarily just for coding. I rarely use it for coding. I would say I mostly use it for my day-to-day tasks, automating those type of things. And it runs through your terminal. You can run it through a terminal, or you can run it through VS Code, so Visual Studio Code. You can install an extension in which you can chat it, very similar to like in the regular like AI chat interface, you know. But personally, I've been running it through the terminal. So you have to run a few commands inside of your computer. You need to be subscribed to a plan. There's a Pro plan, which is, I believe, $17 a month. And then there's a Max plan, which can be $100 or $200 a month. These are going to have different rate limits, meaning that you're going to have a usage rate that you can go up to before you have to wait for it to refresh. I'm on the $100 plan and it works great. I haven't had any issues. I haven't run into any rate limits, maybe a couple times. But note that I'm also not doing coding heavily projects, which kind of makes sense for this. So as I say, here's the pricing: $17, $100, max 20x, $200. What could you do with Claude Code? Code onboarding, turn issues into PRs, make powerful edits, works where you work, lives right in your terminal, no context switching. So in comparison to Bolt, Repli, and Lovable, these are web-based coding agents. Here, when you move to Cursor or Claude Code, they're living inside your computer, living in your terminal, which means you access them through your computer. And what this means is if you're working on a project, there's a functionality called remote control that just came out. But if you don't have that enabled, then you wouldn't be able to work from another computer on a project that you're working on this computer. So just keep that in mind, as opposed to these other platforms like Bolt, Repli, or Lovable. You can access them from anywhere because they live on a server. This one's live in your terminal. The same thing that you can do with the other platforms, like build landing pages, create apps, create Chrome extensions, that sort of thing. All of that can be done inside of Claude Code. I use it, like I said, for things that are not code related, such as creating Notion files, such as creating copy for my LinkedIn posts, for YouTube. I have some agents that, for example, this is a use case that I have, is that whenever I record a video, I have an agent in Claude Code to which I send the link to that video. As unlisted in my YouTube channel, it reads through the transcript of that video, then it creates titles, it creates descriptions, it creates timestamps, it creates hashtags for that video, puts it directly in the video, makes the video public for me. So all I have to do is really just send him the link. I don't have to go into YouTube, go into my YouTube studio, and yeah, I have to give it access to my Google Cloud platform for it to be able to do that. But once you start playing around with these platforms, you're gonna get ideas of things that you can automate. One thing that I found really, really helpful is that I can ask Claude Code directly things on what it's capable of, or if it has any other ideas. So when I was building this system, for example, I was like, I want to automate the way that I create the metadata for my YouTube videos, and it was like, I can help you by doing that. I will need this from you. I gave them that, and now it does it all for me. So in my opinion, Claude Code is at the top right now. Cursor is probably very similar. Because it runs on a model, it can run on Opus 4.6, which is one of the best coding models for Claude Code, and be very similar. You can get very similar results. And then when it comes to Lovable, Repli, and Bolt, probably couldn't give a very well-established opinion because I haven't used them that much. But I know there's their limitations. Like I said, they live on a server. You're not fully in control. But you can achieve good things, especially for non-technical users. These are great platforms to start with. So yeah, those are 5 vibe coding platforms that you can start using today. Please let me know in the comments which one's your favorite, or which one you're already using, which one you think is giving you the better results. Like I said, in my opinion, it's Claude Code. And if this is your first time hearing about vibe coding, let us know in the comments also what would you like to build with these platforms and if you'll be trying them out. Thanks.